Okay, and I have another issue that I can give for that example of unpleasant. When I left, my husband and I left for a year from the church we were in. We moved away to Texas, and when we came back, even then, when I was away, I could feel the discord and the things that weren't going right in my home church because I was praying for them. I was praying for the church and the congregation. And I could feel where people were getting disconnected, that there wasn't any unity, that things were going on with the women.
Right.
With things were going on with the women. So I had one dear friend, I would call back and just let them know, hey, I'm praying and I feel like such and such is going on. And I didn't even have to say it. And she would say certain things and pray for us. And like, I'm in prayer for you. And even on my way back, when I got there, it hit me real strong when I got back, and I saw it for myself, the way the women had dispersed in certain circles. If you had this, it was okay, we'll invite you to this. If you don't, you can't come to this, the little things they do on their personal time, which is fine, it's them, but we have to be mindful of the way we do things also. And even for me, because I had advanced in my career and my job, and God had blessed us with so many good things, and people thought that I had changed, but I was the same person. But I can't. What looked like I changed, I was hurt, honestly, and I had some challenges on dealing with it.
Probably put some walls up, huh?
I did, because I didn't know who I could trust.
Right.
Because I could feel it and I could hear it coming from different areas. It was just so alarming. But I knew what God was just showing me. I was moving in a different place, and it was okay. But I had to understand that.
Right.
So, but it also made me, and you don't want to put your guard up, but you kind of have to.
Oh, yeah.
Because people will use you. And so that's why I took it to be more in tune onto I'm not showing you so you can be, go back and forth with them.
Right.
I'm showing you for a different reason.
Right.
I'm showing for you to be wise and to, to use your resources in a different way.
Right.
And to just be mindful and just know what's going on.
Right.
And stand up for people. And which I do. I'll stand up for somebody if I know that they're not being done right and treated in a certain way. And that's what we have to do. So those were two unpleasant experiences that I really didn't think that I would get that much touched, because like I said earlier, I'm not really involved with a lot of people, not because I don't want to, just because I don't want to, maybe I don't, but I'm just not too much in that. And anybody can come up to me and say anything. Right. I'll do anything for anybody. But yeah, we just
all good.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. So.
But I think it's like you said, and I even said on the first segment, that women, God created us to be sensitive creatures. So you're gonna feel, like you said, those things that's going on. Someone talking about you. I mean, you just feel all of that stuff. Now, sometimes I always say, God, this is a blessing and this is a curse, to be this sensitive and just pick up on different things. Because you touched on how it made you feel and you somewhat put up blockers, how did you get out of that place?
Oh, wow.
Please tell me that.
I'll tell you how I got out of that place.
Sisters.
Two things what I understood. I understood that it was a break in the unification by the enemy, that he was continuing to bringing discord among them, and I was coming in along with it too.
Right. And
I was like, wow. And that came to me after I really start seeking God, and I said, what is going on? What is good? Because I had some personal struggles going on too, and then I got the, with my health and whatnot, and then I would, I had the church struggles going on too, and I'm like, I just couldn't figure out what is going on, yeah, because it's like he's like, I'm here for this person whenever they need. I'm here for this person, and no one will call and say, how you doing? If you need help, or you know what's going on. It was none of that, and I was hurt, and I was like, wow, you're here for others, and they're not here for you. But I got out of that because I sought God, and I was looking to find out what is this all about, because it couldn't have been about me. Something else was going on here, And he had to, and once I did that, I was shown, hey, I'm taking you to another level. But in order to take you there, I need you to see what's going on at this level here, because we're gonna have to break up some things.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna have to break up some things, and that's how I was able to kind of bounce back to where I was, but more wiser than before. So I think I'm more in the speak up mode for women. For women, I'm still not. I'm talking about in my church kind of say. I'm still not in that. I'll never be in the clique. That's you know, I'll never be in that. I sit right behind the pastor and his wife, and I can tell you what's going on with Jim or Jane, because that's not why I'm there.
Right.
So and I have to. I do have people in the church that will come to me and ask me questions, or kind of let me in on some things that's going on, and it's never a sit down, let's talk about somebody else session. It's not that. It's a we got to be better than that, and you got to understand that this person's still working in the flesh, and when somebody comes to you one way, don't allow people, no matter where they are, church setting or not, to run over you. You have to speak up for yourself, because I always say, if you can't even be your biggest fan, come on, you know. You know. So pretty much that's I got out of that by just really getting into my word and really understanding what my purpose was, because I was getting off track.
Oh yeah,
I was getting off track. Yeah, that's not why you're here, Charlie. Okay, so they think this, they think that, and they don't want to this and that. Okay, fine, but that is not why you're here. So that's what I got back to, on the purpose of why I'm here, what I'm doing in the church, and what I'm doing for God.
That's good. Some good stuff. Some real good stuff. Now, what are some ways you believe authentic and healthy relationships amongst women can be fostered in the church community? So we kind of talked about the things that, you know, we see we could deal with, being sensitive, being discerning, but how do you think we could get from out of some of the mindsets, come from out of the cliques? Come from out of, okay, let me look at her, you know, see what she got. Oh, let me go try to get a bigger house because she got this house. How do you think we could kind of get out of that just in the church setting? And I know, even though we're talking about the church setting, it expands the church setting, because we could use it wherever. But I just know, just from being in the church since I was a young girl, there is some issues up in there that we most definitely need to deal with as sisters. So what are some things you think we could do to begin to foster? I want to say, I know one key thing is that communication. You know, I don't think we have to communicate with each other in the church. I just think we just gonna walk around, be like cavemen and cave women, and we just gonna do it's just gonna happen. But you tell me what you think.
I think that what you said, key is communication is very key. But when you start a woman's ministry in your church, it's got to be a real ministry.
Oh yeah.
Not a book club, but some things have to be put out up front of what we're not and what we're not going to do. Some expectations from the leaders and the people sitting there listening, because we often say, we'll get together and say, okay, what is said in this meeting won't be said outside, but then as soon as you hit the door, somebody called.
And I had that to happen. I broke down and was crying and everything. People that was not even at that meeting, by the time I got home, they was calling me like, I heard at the meeting you said. So it's a problem.
And I really feel like if it exists, it need to be called out. If I got to be strong enough that when I'm at the house, I'm not at the meeting, and Susie called me, and that wasn't supposed to be said, I got to be strong enough to call her out. Anybody doing that got to be strong enough to call them out, because that's what they have to and there's a lack of education about why we are here and what we are to do.
Exactly.
You know, people don't, they think that it's somewhere to just come and just hash and then, spread more gossip or whatever. It needs to be called out, because I'm pretty sure that you can stand somebody up and ask them who are the gossipers, and they can point them out.
Oh yeah.
They can point out, and it should not be allowed. And that's where we're failing as leaders, and then we're going around doing the same thing.
I think you're saying a key thing that's so good, because a lot of times we put that accountability just on the pastor. Like, we like, oh, he need to call this out. He need to set it straight. Although he does need to be the one to address it, because that's just the way people's mindset are. When the pastor addressed it, then God said it. But at the same token, we're all accountable for saying, okay, this is not right. Okay, stop calling me.
Yeah.
Why do you know my business? You wasn't even there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Go ahead.
okay, because you don't have to know. I mean,
Right.
what is it going to do for you?
Right.
You
And
know?
then they call like they're concerned, like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
you're
you don't have
crying,
to
you
know.
know.
And that should stop too. I mean, you didn't speak to me before, so why you know, I don't know why
Right.
people don't think, okay, that people realize, you're calling to find out something. You never,
Right.
you never spoke to me before, or this kind of stuff. It's just unfortunately, it's just games that people play, and it needs to be called out. You know?
But I'm finding out too, they don't like, I'm very straightforward. Oh my God. And I'm going to say it. But I come to find out people's feelings get hurt so quickly and so easily, especially women. When you say, I even say, this is the way I'm feeling, and you made me feel this way when you did this. I've even apologized to people for feeling a certain type of way, because I'm like, I don't want to take what you did in the wrong, manner, but this is the way it made me feel. My feelings are still true. So, I mean, how do you just deal with that? And I know we can't win everybody over, but just deal with the fact that when you are a straight up type of woman, then women, they hurt by that. Then they probably ain't gonna call you.
Women. Some women will welcome it. And they can bounce back and say, oh, I thank you for it, and move on. But then you'll have a large majority, because we are sensitive and emotional. Oh, we done got our feelings hurt. When we know we shouldn't have been out there doing whatever.
Right.
I mean, you should know. But if we really think about it and understand that somebody that genuinely cares for you, they're going to be open, and they're going to be verbal, and they're going to say stuff in love. And we gotta not just have the thin skin so much, because what women will do is just amaze me. They'll let a man, do any and everything to him.
Yes.
Say anything to him, or call him this and that, and as soon as my sister try to sit you down and talk to you, now your feelings hurt.
Right.
You don't want to deal with them anymore. So I think that's where we messed up. We're not knowing who we are, our self-identity, and if we could really, especially because now we done got to a certain part in our life, and we have these young children in the church, we have the teens in the church, we have the young adults in the church, and we are missing the mark so much on that. It's not about fun. We think it's about fun in the games, and we are missing the real mark of helping these young ladies understand who they are. So then they come and they become adults, and they're like
then they didn't watch our behavior, so they think that's okay. Because it amazed me that even some teenage girls that I had to even deal with, with doing certain things in the church, they just like their mama and them. They talking, they know everybody business, and they telling me stuff about what's going on in the church. I'm like, how do you know that at 16?
Yes,
so,
and that's what
it's
they
a problem.
We're just not being mindful of our conversations in front of them, because children do what they see. They do what you can tell them stuff, but they'll do what they see.
Exactly.
In their behavior.
Exactly.
We just have to be. We have to stop that. So it's hard to even get into. Then you finally get into the women's group or whatever, and wonder why everybody all jacked up and messed up, because they've come from different areas, and they're just dragging it in. They're just dragging it in, and it's got to stop. If we can get a really good ministry to women that say, hey, we are open, we are pouring out, and we are standing for each other.
Oh yeah.
And it's so unfortunately, because you can get a group of women, and you may get, out of 10, you might get 3 talks about that will really be that
and will
way.
last to the end.
And fortunately, that's the way it is. But we have to start weeding folks out when they're like that. We got to start calling folks out. You have to. If you want to stand for people, that's what you have to do.
That's right. That's right. And which leads to the next thing, because I was going to say, those key factors we could use. So we said communication, being real and calling things, out, calling if it ain't right, it ain't right.
That's right.
That's
right.
So, and what was some other key things that we could pull out of that conversation we just had? So communication, calling things out, And
you need to be authentic.
be authentic.
You need to be
That's
authentic.
my favorite word.
Transparency. You have to be able to do that. You know,
Okay.
you can't just sit and say, "Oh, that never happened to me. This don't happen to me." Just, you know, you want somebody to be authentic and share. You got to be able to do that, because people relate more when you do that, instead of you just sitting back and taking notes, because that's what a
Right.
lot of people do.
Oh yeah.
They just sit back and take notes. And you got to be able to stand up for yourself and stand up for others. And if you can do that and be in a really in a unified women's ministry, you guys can go places. You can and weed out, okay, this is what we are about. These are our standards. This is what we're going to stand for. We're going to be authentic. We're going to be transparent. We are going to be able to be our sister's keeper. You know, really be there for them. And educate.
Yes.
You got to help women with their self-identity.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't have it, and they don't
Yes.
even know it, but they think they do.
Yes.
You know, help
because
them
sometimes
get
they
some
didn't came in the
standards.
church and got a title, and
Yes.
they doing something now, and so now they find an identity in that, but they don't know their true self.
That's right.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
That's
I had
right.
to
That's
throw
right.
that plug in there.
And that's right. And we gotta be able to show our weaknesses.
Oh yeah, be vulnerable. Yes.
We have got to be able to, because we want people to see us in a certain light and think about us and never think that I don't fail, or that doesn't happen to me, or I don't get sad.
And we set up false
Oh my
expectations
goodness.
for people.
Yes, and don't be afraid to. I would say one thing that I carried for many years, especially now, this is a struggle for African Americans and a struggle for women in general. That I suffered with depression for 20 years.
Wow.
Depression and anxiety.
Wow.
And I would have never told anybody that before I was delivered. And you got to understand and know whatever, because everybody's been through something.
Oh yeah.
But what we do is we get afraid to say things because we think, I'm gonna be judged by this person. I'm not gonna be. They're like, oh, what? She went through that. She ain't gonna be able to do this, and that. You know. So they judge you. But even essence, my testimony is gonna help even one
Somebody.
person.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And we can't
Yes.
allow others and the enemy to keep our voices. We can't, and that's where we mess up. If we can sit in an environment with some women and be able to share and pour out and still walk out the door and say, yeah, I'm still okay.
Right.
And my sister said, yeah, I still got her back.
That's right.
That's a powerful movement.
That's right.
But
That's
why
right.
do we fail?
That's right.
You know?
And I think it's like you said, though, so many women, even you could know, even when we first started off the sisterhood thing that we were doing on the identity crisis courses, that so many women are terrified of being vulnerable to other women. I mean, it's a great big fear, because I think it's just been in society, we have not been loving one another unconditionally. We have been judging one another so much. We have been talking about one another. We've been competing with one another. And so now we find it very, very difficult. And it's like you even said, it was a handful of us. We probably started off with about 12, and then we was down probably 6 or 5, finished all the way through to the end, just because you got to almost make up your mind, no matter what, I'm going to change, you know. And I think that's what the sisterhood, lifetime sisterhood did for me, is that I just made up my mind, said, Cinda gonna change now. Y'all can stay, you know, in that place where you're not gonna trust, you know, you're just gonna stay in your little corner, you ain't gonna speak up. And I didn't feel no shame. I'm like, hey, once I put it out here, you know, I be vulnerable. Now, even at this point, some of y'all decide to take it and run with it, and, you know, or do something negative with it. I'm free, because I went ahead and got it out, you know. And I think that's sometimes how we got to look at things too, is like when we make a decision for ourselves to be made over, go through our makeover, that we don't care, you know. I don't care. And even I've come to a place even with women, because I know, and I've talked to you about this before, I'm a very open person. You know, I'm the person that's gonna go and try to love everybody, you my friend type person. And I had to become all right with, when I do that, maybe you're the wrong one, you know, and you probably gonna do something that's not gonna be so good for me, but I'm okay with that, you know, because I know my personality, it's hard for me to change it, but still have wisdom, like you said, you know, still use that discernment, use that wisdom, but I still gotta be Cinda and not get myself to a place that I now have blockers, because that's just my personality, to be open, to be loving, and now you didn't hurt me, you know. And so it's a lot of things I didn't try to work out in myself, even pertaining to like some of the key factors that you had given, especially that vulnerability part. I mean, I just don't care no more. I mean, I just really don't. You know, what you gonna do? Because me and my husband went through, and I was real about it.
Yeah.
And now you probably want to go around and whisper like, "Oh, she thinks she did. She trying to do a sisterhood makeover, but her and her husband, you know, hey." You know, I'm human, like you said. I'm still growing. I'm always maturing and all that good stuff. Is there anything else you want to add? Look, it's been feeling good. Y'all see, I didn't have to do that much talking. I've been letting her go. I've been learning so much.
Well, the vulnerability part for me, especially now with a book that I have coming out September 1st.
She's gonna talk about this project. Y'all gotta get this book. Go ahead.
And there's a Jewel in You, and it's coming out September 1st. And I collaborated with a group of women, and we talk about our experiences as a teen mom, what it was like, and how it was to just go through that experience. And it is so powerful because it took us back to where we were, and we were able to look at where we are now. So that's what the book is based on, from a statistic to success. But in all of that, there was some healing. There were some open wounds. There were a lot of things that happened. So like when I did the first, because we had to do a couple of drafts. I did the first draft, and it was okay. You know, oh yeah, I remember that. Da, da, da. So then I had to go back, and we had to go back and revise some things. And that's when it, you know, some things start coming to light. Because initially I had said, when I put something, I said, well, let me take that out. You know, because it gets in your mindset. You think, oh, well, is somebody going to be able to handle that? You know, am I ready to put that out there? Am I ready to? But you know what? It is who I was. It is the journey I walked, and it is what made me what I am today. It added to that because I say I had a young lady that I mentored, and I still do, and I mentored some years ago. And she said, oh, you know, Miss Charley, I wish I had everything. You got a nice car, you got a nice house, you got a good career and stuff. And I'm thinking, she didn't even know that I was homeless with my children.
Wow.
You know, she doesn't know the walk that it took to get there. It did not happen overnight, you know. And I kind of feel that way now. Even some ways in the church or whatever, not so much in my day-to-day career, because I work from home and I travel, so I don't have that, you know, that community that I'm seeing, going to the office, seeing somebody every day. But even in my church sometimes, you know, it doesn't bother me though.
Right.
It's really, it'll slide right off my shoulder. That if somebody might think, oh well, because I know where I was and who I am. And I know how hard I worked to get where I am. So we cannot feel bad for our success. You can't feel bad for who you are and what you did to be, you know, to get where you were.
That's right. And that's another topic, people. You cannot feel bad for the success that you have. Well, Charley, I want to thank you so much, but I want you to tell us specifically where we could get this book that you were talking about. She is a co-author, y'all. Woo woo! Charley coming up in the author world. So tell us the name of the book again, where we could get it, how much it costs.
All right. It's called There's a Jewel in You, $14.97. Pre-order dates are August 1st through the 22nd. The book will release on September 1st. You can go to greaterwoman.com and you can find the book there, or you can hit me up and say, do they even say that anymore? At Charley,
people let us know.
That's charleyhwillis@gmail.com. That's Charley with an EY at gmail.com or charleyhwillis.com.
Awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed Charley just as much as I did. I want to thank her once again for her time, for her wisdom. I had so much fun today. Oh, I had a lot of fun. But I think we summed everything up, women, today. So I hope you go back and play this tape several times just for you to get those key factors into your system of things that we could do to make a healthier and authentic relationship in the church setting, in the church community. And even sometimes if we could start there, it could spread out into our other communities. So once again, your friend and your sister, Cinda Brown, signing off.
Thank you.